Good morning and a warm welcome to you all. I am Akshita, host for today. We continue with our Sadgun Sang Meet, that is 108th virtual webinar. Our topic for today is handling solutions with mindfulness, which shall be taken by Mrs. Jayashree Venkataraman. She shall be covering the topic as under. Good morning and a warm welcome to you all. I am Akshita, host for today. We continue with our Sadgun Sang Meet, different types of 108 virtual webinar. Relevance of our topic for today is followed handling solutions with mindfulness, which shall be taken by Mrs. Jayashree Venkataraman. She shall be covering virtual inauguration the topic as under Kataria, warm welcome the blessing of diet. I am Akshita, host for today. We continue with our introduction of different types of presentation by relevance of our topic for today is followed handling solutions with mindfulness closing section, which shall be taken by Mrs. Jayashree Venkataraman. She shall be covering virtual inauguration topic as Dr. Kataria, warm welcome the blessings of diet. I am Akshita, host for today. We continue with our introduction of different types of presentation by relevance of our topic for today is followed handling solutions with mindful closing section, which shall be taken by Mrs. Jayashree Venkataraman. Sadgun Sang she shall be covering virtual inauguration topic as Dr. Kataria, warm welcome the blessings of diet. I am Akshita, host for today. We continue with our introduction of different types of presentation by relevance of our topic for today is followed handling solutions with mindful closing section, which shall be taken by Mrs. Jayashree Venkataraman. Sadgun Sang she shall be covering virtual inauguration topic as Dr. Kataria, warm welcome the blessings of diet. I am Akshita, host for today. We continue with our introduction of different types of presentation by relevance she shall be covering virtual inauguration topic as Dr. Kataria, warm welcome the blessings of diet. I am Akshita, host for today. We continue with our introduction of different types of presentation by relevance
It's very disturbing. Please correct the audio at your end. Akshata.
she shall be covering
Oh,
virtual
no, sorry,
inauguration
sorry,
topic
sorry,
as
sorry.
Dr. Kataria, warm welcome the blessings of diet. I am Akshita, host for today. We continue with our introduction of different types of presentation by relevance
Disturbing. Please correct the audio at your end. Akshata.
shall be covering virtual
Sorry,
inauguration
sorry,
topic
sorry,
as
sorry.
Dr. Kataria, warm welcome the blessings of diet. I am Akshita, host for today. We continue with our introduction of different types of presentation by relevance
Disturbing. Please correct the audio at your end. Akshata.
shall be covering virtual
Sorry,
inauguration
sorry,
topic
sorry,
as
sorry.
Dr. Kataria, warm welcome the blessings of diet. I am Akshita, host for today. We continue with our introduction of different types of presentation by relevance Hello. Sorry for the inconvenience to all. So we'll be continuing our section by starting up. So a brief introduction of a keynote speaker, Mrs. Jayashree Venkataraman. Jayashree Venkataraman, the founder principal of DAV's Public School, Pune, academic director to SNBP Techno School and the Cambridge School. Academic qualification of her is Masters in English Literature from Madurai Kamraj University, BSc in Statistic Maths Physics from MS University, B.Ed in English Maths from Annamalai University, MBA in SCMHRD, Symbiosis International University, DLLW in Pune University. 36 years of teaching and 16 years of school administration experience. Her achievements and rewards are Avantika Sarla Chopra Memorial Summon for invaluable and path-breaking contribution for the promotion of social welfare, education, Indian art and culture. Dr. Radhakrishnan Award for contribution in the field of for education, awarded by AKS at New Delhi for being one of the top 100 most effective principal of India for the year 2017. Please welcome Mrs. Jayashree Venkataraman. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Akshata. That was
Welcome, ma'am.
of you to introduce me. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, ma'am.
So my topic today is handling situations with mindfulness. My expertise is restricted to schools. My expertise is restricted to students, parents. So my topic shall only deal with this clientele that I talk about, and which possibly could also be incorporated in various situations. So I think we'll move on to my presentation. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. What is mindfulness? I think it's a basic human ability to fully be present at the moment. It's so important that you are there 100% in whatever you are doing. Be aware about it. Be aware of where we are and what we are doing. I think we human beings are the only species who can proudly say that we are endowed with these natural capacities. Not being overly reactive or overwhelmed by what is going on around us. It is all chaotic. The world around us is so chaotic that it is so important to remain resilient to it. And only if you are resilient to it and unperturbed by it, will you be able to do what you are expected to do. And that all comes by when you are at peace with your own self. This is an image of an agitated child. Absolutely distressed. Wouldn't want to hear anyone justify or moderate. He's too much into agony about not being understood. Why do you think does it happen like this? I'm sure this is not an isolated expression of a child. We have some audience here. I will request the audience to respond. Why do you think would a reaction of this kind happen? Can I have some audience respond to this?
Ma'am, regarding this picture, what you have shown, why he is giving this expression?
Yes.
Yeah, maybe some of his demands are not fulfilled, or he is not being listened to by his parents.
Absolutely. Yes, and basically it is an expression of not being understood. And how irritated he looks because he is not understood. I think that is the plight of every child, that he does not get understood. Typically, there are three major influencers in a child's life. According to me, I mean, before COVID, the first aspect was possibly not there. Environment did little to influence the child's behavior because parent gave that immunity to a child. But thanks to COVID, I think children have got exposed to environment like never before. Parent by default are major influencers and teacher the school. The Western Michigan University findings related to environment. It's very, very scary. The most common ways that COVID-19 has impacted students' lives. It may not apply to a smaller child, but for certain, an average age student has definitely got affected. There are a lot of stress and anxiety. Basically, the anxiety is about uncertainty. There is a lot of talk happening in the family about relocation. There's a talk happening about job loss, about lack of resources. That creates a lot of stress in the children. There is a disappointment or sadness, and if you really ask the child to logically explain where the disappointment came from or why is he sad, he's actually unable to even speak because he lacks that basic articulation. Loneliness, isolation. I think COVID, with people required to stay at home, stay isolated, brought in that feeling because social engagement for children is so important. So the remnants of COVID-19 can still be seen in our children these days. Financial setback has hit badly. Relocation, people have been required to migrate to different parts of the country, of the world, and that also has led to a lot of setback and emotional strain on children. What do you think is this expression? I see a lot of teachers in this group. I want you to respond to this. It's a very common expression. Yeah, teachers are waiting. Yeah, Rashmi, ma'am, you could.
Many of them are answering the questions on the chat box.
Okay.
So we can read out the chat box also.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so what kind of expression is this?
Ma'am, like the parents are trying to explain her something and she's in no mood to listen. Maybe she has her own perception of things, and the parents are wanting her to listen to only them what they are saying.
Absolutely. And there is a expression of why. Why do you not understand? Or why are you not getting it right? Okay, and then there is a sense of hopelessness in the child's expression, does not want to listen to anyone. Again, this expression is one that's accusing expression. Accusing the child of something that has happened and not listening. I think the child is subject to so much. I know I'm being a little biased because I'm not saying this could also be a teacher for that matter, but I'm hoping our teachers in the school don't have such expressions on their faces. The child is subject to so much because it's like an adult world, and if you don't comply to the adult world, you have no reason to grow up. This is the kind of expression majority of adults give to a child. I mean, to an extent, the child, if the child had enough imagination and enough reasoning ability, the child would actually dread to even grow up. That if I were to grow up in an environment like this, where people of this kind exist, I don't want to grow up. Typically, we have 4 kinds of parents. Okay, 4 kind of parenting styles, they call it. Authoritative parenting style, permissive parenting style, authoritarian parenting style, and an uninvolved parenting style, that is laissez-faire. Now, would anyone want to respond to this? What would you mean by an authoritative parent?
Hello. Hello.
Yes.
Madam, this authority means all mothers will control all childs. Not to go to without her permission, don't go outside, don't do any work, like that one authority is there. Somewhere some fathers are controlling all the things. Without their permission, they don't put one leg also. After marriage also, same thing following.
Okay. So basically, what you are referring to is an authoritarian parent. Okay, there is a difference between authoritarian parent and an authoritative parent. Actually, an authoritative parent is a parent who gives freedom while defining the boundaries. A child feels very, very protected when boundaries are set. Parent-child wants the boundaries to be set, but he feels more protected. He feels taken care of. He feels loved. So boundaries are essential to be set. So it's an ideal parenting style. Authoritative. Okay, so which means, like, I'll give you an example. The parent says, yes, you want to watch TV? I give you permission to watch TV 1 hour in a day. Now you need to decide as to which hour of the day you want to watch TV. Or the child naturally gets the freedom of watching TV at a specific time. And the mother gives just a reminder, it is just 5 more minutes to go and you need to switch it off. And the child listens to the instructions, and maximum it may go beyond, instead of 5 minutes, it may go to 10 minutes, but that should be okay. So that is an authoritative parent who sets limits. A permissive parent is a parent who is emotionally weak. Okay. She would say, anything I will do for my child. The child does not eat 1, 2, 3, 4 vegetables. I will prepare the 5th vegetable 5 days in a week because the child eats only that. I'm helpless and I want to give the best to my child. I want him to know he's loved. So subconsciously, the mother, the father has stepped on to become a pampering parent. Love makes you stronger. Pampering weakens you. But not all parents realize that. So a permissive parent gives in to all the demands of the child. An authoritarian parent is what our participant mentioned, he is super strict. You remember the days, the way we were brought up. I think our parents believed in being authoritarian. They were very strict with us because they believed that strictness, spare the rod, spoil the child. All those maxims came by during that time. And an uninvolved parent is a parent who is just not bothered, who thinks, I'll be sharing few examples of all this in the future slides. Yes, so again, authoritarian. This style of parenting is mostly about establishing rules and being extremely strict and non-negotiating. कह दिया बस हो गया. Authoritative parenting is about being authoritative, is very different from being authoritarian. The parent states his, her expectation and also consequences of unwarranted action. So the parent actually says that if you go beyond 1 hour of TV watching, you may have to lose out on having maybe ice cream in the evening, or may have to compromise with your playtime with your friends. So the consequence is also mentioned. So the child is able to make decisions. So you have strengthened his decision making. A permissive parent tends to become warm, affectionate, but has extremely less control on children. They are highly emotional and believes in pampering the students. Uninvolved parents are those type of parents who are usually detached and show lack of involvement. There, I will give examples of this as we move on. Unless anyone wants to state anything here. Similarly, teaching also, the teaching styles are also of the same kind. An authoritarian teacher, an authoritative teacher, uninvolved teacher, a permissive teacher. You see, there are some classes wherein, it's very, very noisy. And the teacher says, yes, I am actually a very lenient teacher. But then the question comes, do such teachers establish efficacy in teaching? Are they effective? If they are loose, if they are lenient, learning will not happen. They need to set boundaries. They need to say, I can't. There are times when you don't even have to shout. Even your presence in class is good enough for children to be quiet. If you shout, then you are an authoritarian. But when you don't have to shout, your presence makes the difference, then you are basically authoritative. So high standards here, the guidelines are there, enabling the student, supporting the child, being assertive, ensuring self-regulation. So we here, what we do in our schools is, even when we give homework, we have something called a homework submission timetable. So what happens is, irrespective of when and how much the homework is given, the children know that they have to submit it on a given day only. So they can actually manage their time. So that is also a reflection of an authoritative behavior. When children go down for their music practice, dance practice, and they are selected for 1, 2, 3, 4 activities, by default, they are communicated that if they don't perform well in academics, possibly there shall be no opportunity given to these children again. So what is it? Is it an authoritarian behavior or an authoritative? It is authoritative because you have told them that We are very happy that you are super talented and you want to participate in 1, 2, 3, 4 activities, but not at the cost of academic loss. You should be able to complete your notes. You should be able to submit your homework. We wouldn't want you to come up and give excuses of having missed out on your classes. And so that if I were to do it, then I become what? A permissible teacher. I'm not that. I'm not able to give directions to the child. I'm saying this is also okay. Nahi kiya, agle time kar lena. Now children don't understand such language. It is either yes or no. No in between. There are some teachers, okay, who can be uninvolved. I don't care whether the child attends the class, does not attend the class, whether he learns, does not learn. So I think they are all very, very dangerous. All the three categories, authoritarian, uninvolved, permissible, they are dangerous traits for our teachers and parents. Now, typically what happens with an authoritative teacher? She encourages interactions. She wants to hear what children have to say. And children also want to speak in her class. It wouldn't be like, no nonsense, I wouldn't want to hear you. She's warm and inviting to students. She provides a structure. I'm sorry about the gender. I keep using she because majority of our teachers are lady teachers, but it has to be a neutral statement made. He is supportive, but yet sets limits to the students. There are some classrooms wherein teacher ensures that classroom rules are made by the class. Students make classroom rules. Students come up with amazing solutions to it. Like homework not done, what should be the consequence? Let children only communicate. Imposition karana hai, class se bahar, but yes, we wouldn't want any child to stay out of the class if homework is not done or it is distractive. Teachers are expected to find out ways and means. Children can become, authoritarian when you ask them to set their rules. So it is for teachers to moderate it. Teachers also gives time to complete tasks, provides clarity to students, what is acceptable, what is not. It's so important. So, but children feel very secure because there are boundaries also laid. There is acceptance also. But then it is still there would be conflicting situations. So here is a situation wherein, for better understanding and for paucity of time, I have just maintained one rubric, one situation where the teacher or the school is authoritative. Now you understood the difference between authoritarian and authoritative, right? So the teacher is authoritative, but the parent is of this category. Authoritative, permissive, authoritarian, uninvolved. Now what happens in each case is what we will handle one by one. Teacher is authoritative and the parent is authoritative. What happens? It's the best combination that one can think of. Both are extremely supportive, encouraging, guiding, setting good right limits wherever required, checks with the teacher amicably about the child's progress and behavior in the school. The child intuitively knows that there is high trust between parents and teachers and does not see much value in appealing for parental support. He knows what is right, what is wrong, and he will not be unreasonable in his demands. So this is possibly the best situation. What happens when it is a permissive parent? Now, typically, I mean, with due respect, I'm not generalizing, but given the situation, there are times when the couple have got a child after a long time, maybe with lot of prayers and treatment that the couple has begetted the child. Having said that, the parent has a tendency, ekunta ek hai, अकेला बच्चा है, इसके सिवा मेरा कौन है, मैं, the way I was not brought up, I want to bring up my child. So these are the parents who may complain to the school that the teacher's style is too harsh. The limits drawn by the teacher is seen as highly unfair and misplaced. They feel बच्चे के साथ तो नाइंसाफी हो रही है. They find everyone in the system unreasonable, unfair. Left to them, they would want to iron out the road that the child has to tread. Very, very emotional. Just the other day, I happened to meet a parent. I mean, she was distraught, very, very emotional. She had come here and she said, "Ma'am, I'm very, very upset. My child has to carry such heavy bag to the 3rd floor of the school." I said, "What is the age of your child?" She says, 11 years. 11 years, child, a 3 kilo weight. Why can't the child climb 3 floors of the school? And she says, "No, ma'am, थक जाता है." I said, अगर बच्चा थकता है, तो you should be worried about his fatigue and not wanting me to get the child's class on the 1st floor just because he is getting tired of climbing the stairs. You see my point? And what does the child do in such cases? The child knows her strength of appeal to parents. He could also exaggerate trivial issues, whatever happened in the school. And then ये parents का एक major problem है. ये parents घर में जब बच्चा घर जाता है, तो parents ask, आज school में क्या हुआ? Now when they say what hua, they're invariably wanting to know whether something unfair has happened in the school. And the child actually feels like telling a story. So any small thing also, if he'll want to exaggerate, because he wants 100% attention of the parent. And he gets a feeling of victory when the teachers are misunderstood or misinterpreted, because kahin na kahin school mein thodi bahut to डांट पड़ी होगी ना, so they get the sadistic pleasure. So it's a very, very dangerous trait. Why we are doing all this, trying to analyze, is my slides later is also going to kind of tell us as to how to handle such situations in future. Assuming we have another combination of an authoritative teacher and an authoritarian parent. Parent may complain to the school about the teacher's inaction with his word. Now he is an authoritarian. 6 baje utna hai. 6:10, the parent is going to feel upset and possibly may say no milk to the child because he got up 10 minutes late. Itna time hai, he has to go for bath. This is the time he should be on the breakfast table. He has to complete his work on time. Yeah. He sets very, very strict rules and he expects the child to follow it. But then he is disappointed that the school is overly sensitive. He says, school कैसे allow कर रहा है? When I insist that the child should go in this manner to school, school seems to be quite cool about the child not behaving as per the said norms. Now, what does a child do in this case is the child avoids any interaction with parents. He avoids, he starts avoiding the parent. He starts feeling he should not share anything with the parent because he's scared of an ugly scene that can get created every time anything unacceptable is presented. Because he may throw the book. We had an issue here in the school. We had sent answer papers of children, corrected answer papers of the children home, so that parents could have a look as to how the children had performed. I wouldn't know what came over. This was a 7th standard parent. The parent literally tore the answer script because he was disappointed with the scores that the child had got. And the child was so embarrassed when he came to school to give the torn answer paper to his class teacher. Now, what kind of mindset would a child have in such cases? We heard many times, so as a school, how we can be a little more sensitive to our children. There are times when, when we catch any child, making mischief or required to be punished or reprimanded or writing a note or calling the parents, then the first thing the child says, please punish me. I'm ready to write impositions 10 times. But please, please don't call my parents. Why would a child say that? Because somewhere they are scared of parents' attitude towards them. We find many times that children empty their lunch boxes in the toilets, in the trash bins. We feel extremely distraught. We start feeling children are not valuing food resources that are made easily available to them. We try to drive home the sense of valuing resource. But while all that is happening in the school, the question remains as to why the child wants to take an empty lunchbox home. It's possibly his parents expect him to bring an empty lunchbox. खत्म करके लाना है. We are adults, right? I think आज जितनी भूख लगी है उतना हो सकता है कल नहीं लगेगी मुझे. Don't you think? I think it's all natural not to have the same appetite day in, day out. Why don't I give that permission to the child to think about how hungry he is on a given day? But the बच्चे से अगर authoritative parent होता तो हो सकता है बच्चा घर में जाके बोल सकता था, मम्मा आज मैंने ना 2 चपाती ही खाई, तीसरी वाली में लेके आ गया, मेरे से खाई नहीं गई, आज मुझे भूख ही नहीं लगी थी. The weather also plays a role in your appetite. Why do we expect children to have the same quantity of food each day, every day? But that liberty somewhere has been robbed. So बच्चा घर वो बताना नहीं चाहता, स्कूल में टीचर से hide karke, the child goes and puts it in the trash bin, puts it in the washroom. It's so sad. Whom to blame here is the question. Uninvolved parents. These parents believe that their parenting responsibility has been outsourced to the school. फीस किसकी भर रहा है? सब कुछ स्कूल नहीं करना चाहिए, कल्चर ही नहीं है, कुछ भी सीख रहा है बच्चा. All negative behavioral traits of the child is attributed to the school, teachers, peers. Non-performance also irritates them. They remain frustrated and they keep accusing the school. And what happens to the child? The child is confused. She is unable to relate with parents and exploits all avenues to attract attention and acknowledgement of the parents. I'll give you one example here. Just the other day, one parent comes and demands to meet me. And the reason he gives is, I'm very, very upset that a 400-page book has been issued to my child who is in 6th standard and who is not good in studies. And then our coordinator was surprised at such a weird demand of the parent. Anyway, because he wanted to meet, we played his audience. And he says what? He says, मेरा बच्चा academically पढ़ ही नहीं रहा है, regular पढ़ाई ना करे और ऐसी books issue करता रहे, तो हो सकता है distract हो रहा है. तो मैं नहीं चाहता स्कूल उसको कोई library books issue करे. So you tell me, what kind of behavior is this? I realized that possibly this parent is one of those uninvolved parents who is seeking to check. He is first of all frustrated that the child is not performing well academically, and he is wanting to check factors which are influencing. And what factor did he come across? Was one library issue. I mean, it was an innocent discovery of a library book in the child's bag. He fled. No, instead of counseling, I mean, all that we could think of doing was just tell him, fine, sir, agreed. We respect your decision. Just give in written that you don't want any books to be issued to your child henceforth. And the parent nonchalantly gives a letter like that. What do you make out of that? Do you think he is an authoritative parent? Is he really understanding the child's interest? Who would do it? We find it unreasonable, but somewhere we feel it just can't be helped every time. So, yeah, I would want some participants to share some instances of a similar kind, please. Yeah, I mean, I am seeing some chats. I'm seeing some chats, but I would want you all to speak up, please. Click on your videos and unmute yourself and speak. That will become a little more interactive, and then we will have more food for thought. I'm sure many of us have witnessed this, experienced this.
Ma'am, I would like to share one instance.
Yeah, please.
Ma'am, we have a child in grade 12.
Can you be a little louder? I think your mic.
Ma'am, am I audible now?
Yes.
Yeah. Ma'am, we have a child in grade 12. Like, he is more keen on pursuing his career in sports. He is a sportsman, but because his parents want him to become an engineer and they have forced him, he has taken up science and he is giving his IIT entrance exams. Because of this, half the time when I see him, the child is so good, so intelligent, but half the time when I see him, he remains depressed. And he has said it to me on my face that, ma'am, I'm not interested in studies. I don't want to pursue a career in engineering. My love is for sports, but my parents don't understand me. They want me, they think that sports cannot become your career. So they want me to only focus myself on studies. So he is studying. He is a very intelligent student, but like sometimes he becomes very irritating, or he gets into depression. He is not in a mood to speak to others. We can see behavior, a lot of behavior changes in him because of the force that has been done on him by his parents.
So true, so true.
So like we tried to speak to his parents too, but then like they are of the fact that in India, to have a career in sports, you have to be really good, you have to be one of a kind, and then you can do it. But this studies is very important because it will give him a career, an employment which is really necessary, and they want him to go abroad to pursue uh, further studies. So that is his their dream, which they want him to fulfill. So I think this is one instance I faced.
Yeah, I think they are over indulgent and little uninvolved to a great extent because their involvement is restricted to the child getting employed. Okay, and also feeling a sense of pride that their child has cracked the IIT. And yes, Mr. Menon.
Madam, good morning. I am just currently located in Azerbaijan. This Republic of Azerbaijan is an ex-Soviet country. So I'm speaking from there. So I just want to share two examples, okay, what I faced and what I seen. Uh, about my son only, because me and my wife both are from the science background. And when my son was in the 10th standard, so he was something he want to go into the commerce field, and in his back of mind, since my parents are from the science field, they may compel to me go to the commerce. He was somewhere some reluctant to speak with us, but he was very open to his mother, okay, to wife. So then no, I could take him to to my study room, and then I told him, so whatever your dream is, that you pursue that, okay, we are there to support. It's nothing like that we are from the engineering and science background. That doesn't mean that you also should be go penetrate into that field only. Okay, since you are interested to go to the commerce field, you go ahead. Today he excelled in his studies, and he is now in the 4th semester of MBA in finance. So no, that is the way it looks. And another example I can give, one of my friends, he is an engineer. He and his 4 brothers were engineers, so they are the family of engineers. And he asked his son, forced his sons to go in the BTech only. Okay, and they took the admission in the Manipal, and then he went there, and in the second year, and that guy, his son want to become a pilot. He want to do the course in the aviation, but due to his parents compel, he has been forced to go to the BTech engineering. And what ultimately happened, in the second year, he just left the institute and he came back to home. He said, I cannot do the engineering course. Then the parents has compelled to send him to the Indira Gandhi National Udan Academy in Raebareli. Today he is the pilot in the SpiceJet. So these are the examples. We should look into our child, that what is their dream, or how it can be, how we can support them to look forward. So that is the way. Otherwise, it is lifelong some sort of injury if we go against their wish.
Agreed.
That is what from my side.
Absolutely, very, very well said. So, Mr. Menon, I think you have been an authoritative parent, though maybe not directly like I think your wife, more so because the child felt closer to her and was able to communicate.
Yeah.
So great. I see
Yeah.
Sudesh Sharma sir also.
Arey, ma'am, I know because I don't know. I didn't know Mr. Anand Menon has joined us. In fact, I got a little shaken because I've been watching his kids. Right, because they all stay in the neighborhood, Khargar,
Okay.
and I didn't really know this kind of. I think what I think the suggestions that you were giving to the audience, and he implemented it in his family, and the son is doing, yes, he's doing well. I just wanted to support him actually. Yes, what has happened in his life is something fundamental, and the child is now very happy. So, I mean, these things work. People dismiss these as theories, but these things work. I think, yeah, ma'am. Yeah.
Yeah, very, very true. In fact, I mean, where career is concerned, I can also share my own son's experience. He wanted actually initially, like he showed a lot of interest in hotel management. He was good in studies, and but still he showed extra interest, aptitude in laying table and deciding on the menu of the day and things like that. So we assumed that he would possibly be happy. But I suppose one fine day we had gone to some resort and I just told him, spend some time with the manager there and check as to how his dincharya, how his day unfolds. So he went and spent time, and then he possibly the takeaway for him was uh, the customer is a king, and you have to serve him no matter what. So somehow he didn't like that idea, and he comes and says, I don't think I can serve anyone, everyone. I will only serve who deserve. So when he said that, this was when he was just 16 years old. So that was when I decided that, maybe, it is too premature on our part to decide on his career. We need to give him a little more time. And then, of course, he got into uh, science stream. 2 more years he took for himself to decide as to what should be the career. But that freedom to decide, I think, made all the difference. Yeah, I see Kataria sir also. Yes, Kataria sir. So nice to hear you. It shall be.
Yeah, Jashi, very good morning, and very nice. You have brought the very burning issue, which is today's generation. Because if you see today, one can make career in many areas. Even in sports, also people can make the career. I have seen in USA, they are a very good coach and earning more than any engineer, any technocrat. They are earning quite a lot of money. Plus, they have a lot of respect. They enjoy the respect. So that is most important actually. So I can give you example of my daughter who is in USA now last many years. She has two children, one son, one daughter. Now daughter is very good. Both are quite good athlete and they really enjoy athlete. Like this, my granddaughter, she is good in soccer, football. And my son means he is interested in basketball. And their parents, of course, they all worried about the education is most important. But they always, because they both are technocrats and learned people, so they support their children very well. Even I was surprised when her daughter to the coaching classes twice a week, thrice a week. So she's sacrificing quite a lot that if their children are good in sports, them. That should be there. And now, because of that support, my granddaughter is so nice. Now she's able. So that is a big
It's an achievement. It's an achievement by itself because I think children are
They
born.
are self and their self-esteem. I feel my grandson, he gets up the morning, 6 o'clock, he will immediately go to start playing and doing. Sorry. Yeah.
I,
Sorry, I think somebody is there.
yeah,
Anyway, I just wanted to put my point that one should support whatever their children wants to grow in the direction, whether they want to become a good chef, they want to become pilot, they want to become engineer, they want to become there's book writers or writers or reporters. They should support them. That's what I feel so. And you have been also trying to put that the parents has a lot of responsibility apart from the teacher. Thank you. Thank you.
thank you so
Thank
much, Yasin. Thank you so much. And I think it starts in the school, that kind of feeling of confidence that my parents will understand me, will encourage me. So it all starts much, much earlier. I request Smita ma'am to kind of put in her inputs here.
Yes, ma'am. As a parent, it is very important for us to understand the child, give us, give them the freedom that they deserve.
Ma'am,
Yes,
sorry
set
for the
boundaries,
interruption.
but also understand them. This era, this generation is so different. Like gadget, if it when we talk about gadgets,
Ma'am?
last 2 years children were using gadgets,
Hello?
and somewhere they were not monitored and they were used to. So now we are seeing children more and more using gadgets, and that has taken away the habit of studying regularly.
Hello?
So they're not able to study every day
Ma'am?
for a longer time because of they get
Smita
want
ma'am?
to use gadgets and play more games and watch video shorts and YouTubes for a longer time. But it's very important for us to understand that banning certain things will not work. You can't stop and just ban things, but it's very important for us to teach them how to use gadgets in control, give them set time limits. And because nowadays there are school ERPs, there are websites, there are homeworks and study material coming up. There are so many things on internet which children go through,
Ma'am,
which
sorry
can
for
be used in very,
interruption,
very
but there is an echo of
upgrading child's
voice.
knowledge. So children do discuss among themselves. So as a parent, we don't want our child to not be in the discussion and be lost that we don't know anything what is happening on the group or on internet. So again, you can't ban a gadget, give them and set a time boundary and teach them. I think it's important for us to teach them how to use this freedom, use this time in a constructive manner. So parenting is also, parenting is changing day by day, and to remain with time, we need to change our style. And there is a very thin line between being strict, understanding the child at times, setting boundaries, and seeing that our child is emotionally very, very healthy and a happy child. So, because ultimately we want our child to be happy. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Smita ma'am. I think parenting is an art, and I think an art which evolves. So every parent needs to understand the art, because a child is born without a manual. So no wonder the child is the one who teaches the father, the mother, how to parent him. I see Jaindra Negi sir wanting to respond. Yes, sir.
Oh, thank you for the opportunity. And first of all, I just wanted to bring in a perspective from, you know, a child side, because I have my dad on this Zoom call as well. And it's a homegrown example, in fact, that I can tell you that I can share, in fact. So, as rightly said by Smriti ma'am and Dr. Kataria, uh, which he highlighted about sports, and sports is a very, very niche career path that a parent would allow. And it's example for my brother who performs a athletic sport called parkour. I'm sure most of us won't even know about it. And
If you can elaborate, yes.
sure. So if we go as per the principles, it is basically how you tackle the obstacles in your path by way of, going over them, under them, or uh, across them. The moment, the rhythm is, it's all the philosophy of parkour. It's kind of, I would say, by example, you must have seen Vidyut Jamwal's movie called Commando, where he performs maneuvers over objects and, he goes over them, or how he tackles them, or he goes inside the car window and gets to the other side. So that's kind of a very niche uh, sports profile. In fact, it's so niche that it isn't even yet recognized as a sport. Okay. And you imagine having a teenager at your home who is now pepped up and quite inspired to be an parkour athlete, and you have a dad who has got him into computer science as a student, because that is a lucrative industry out there, and then uh, you have a discussion with your kid and you succumb to his needs, that okay, he needs this right now, he needs his parkour training to be done, or he needs support to get this done. And I have seen my brother evolve. I have seen him uh, being a person who was inspired by parkour to a person now who inspires others to follow this sport. So
Wow.
I have seen him grow to an extent where he's not only, it might be a small thing for others as to buy a new bike or something, but when I see that he purchased it all by himself in his 20s with the income that he earned following his passion, I feel that is a really big achievement. And not just that, any new gym or any new school that comes up or is looking forward to get into this industry or into this sports activity for their kids, I see that he is being approached for that. So
Wow.
which I feel is a great achievement. It has taken a lot of time. He started following this in 2012. We are a decade from there now, but I mean, persistence, continuity, and support is all I would say. It helps achieve unachievable things in life. So, thank you, I would say, Jashi ma'am, to bring this topic up. It is a very important thing for parents to understand that, the right support can bring up their child. Not just, see, I believe that it's not just financial fulfillments that you need in life. You need emotional fulfillments. You need people around you. You need to have time to spend with people around you, and you also need money at the same time. So the balance is the right thing that you need in today's life. So uh, that's a set of example. This was on the positive side, and I do have an example where I see one of my friend suffering from this authoritative situation out here. So he completed his MBA grads under pressure, to uh, get a better job. He completed his MBA in finance. He got into SBI, right? But he wasn't happy. Eventually, he had to leave his job. He had to travel to Canada because again, he wanted to get into aesthetics of injury recovery. Uh, that's again a very niche, a very niche profession followed in sports industry where you help out athletes with right set of exercises to recover their injuries, which we often see in cricket or any sports that athletes do get certain injuries and they need to recover and heal. So that's the kind of thing that he's doing. Imagine a person from finance background now getting into such a field, and all he feels or all he regrets is wasting his time during his younger age, where he could have achieved much more than what he can now, because you do get certain barriers or certain limitations with your age.
Yes.
So yeah.
Wow. Thank you so much, Mr. Negi. That was really very, very nice and insightful. Yeah, Rashmi ma'am, I think you're here. Yeah, so again share.
Yeah, ma'am, I wanted to give an example of my own elder son. Being a teenager, they also pass through so many emotions. I think they connect to their friends more than the parents. Actually, what had happened was after 10th standard, I and my husband, we clearly knew that his interest would be languages, social sciences. He was very good at that. But somewhere down the line, he was of the feeling that my friends are taking science, they are going for engineering, so I would become an engineer, giving the entrance test and all with them. We tried to convince him from our side that it requires a lot of hard work. Chemistry is a difficult subject for you, but he was very adamant, saying that no, 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 I don't want to get into commerce. I don't want to become an chartered accountant like my father. I would do engineering. I would do automobile engineering, and everything he told. So we said, okay, let us allow him what he wants to pursue. We will not put our inputs on him. Let him fulfill his dream. We enrolled him, for a 1 week demo science class for his 11th standard to just judge how much is he able to cope up with it. After that 1 week, he was a bit silent. He kept to himself. 2 days he didn't speak with any one of us. He didn't eat food. He was very reclusive and all those things. We tried to find it out from him what had happened. And after 2 days, he started crying. And then I and my husband, we sat with him. We asked him, like, why are you crying, what had happened? So that time he came out and he told us, Mummy, I'm not able to do with sciences. I don't think so, it's my cup of tea. And what you had dad had suggested, commerce, I think that is the line that I should go for. And so what we had done it was, we gave him the space to think, let him try out for himself. When he himself will not be able to do, he will come to us, he will tell us, and then we will tell him what he needs to do next. And that is how in 11th standard then he went for commerce, and then he chose law and clat, he gave his clat and all those things. Okay, though I'm not very this with his course, but still he's also going to give other exams, he's going to try with ipmat. So we have kept the horizon open for him. If what you want to do, we are there for you to support you. So
And
this is
yeah, it is so important that actually it is not a race there where every time everyone should qualify. Okay, I mean, you need to create your own race. I think
yes.
this is how we should orient our children, and we should have them have that self-esteem, that confidence, and
Yes,
that's
ma'am.
precisely what an authoritative parent would do. Constantly encourage, guide, motivate, and
Yes, ma'am.
yes, we are there to support. I see Mr. Menon again. So yes, Mr. Menon.
Madam, I have heard lot many examples, and this is really a value addition. And thankful to all those who shared this. One more point which I would like to share. No, about my own example from my home only, about my daughter who is she wants to go into the medical field. Okay, she completed her 12th last year, but somehow not able to qualify NEET in the first attempt. Now she took the break and again trying her level best to get it into the NEET in the 2023. But to my surprise, she made her determined that she will go into the medical field only. Okay, which we are there to support her. But the surprise part is that she made her one objective for her himself, that in 2023, if I am unable to qualify for the NEET, then I should have a plan B also. That too in the medical field only.
On her own, she decided.
And on her own, she decided. And she has somehow she is looking what are the courses there where can be lot many things can be pursued in the medical field. She now told us very clearly, if I am unable to qualify NEET, I will be not wasting my another year to for further attempts. I will be looking for the bachelor's in physiotherapy, which is again a sports related thing. And she said this is a very scope. This course is a very good scope in the sports industry. So this was surprise to us. The way today's kids are, no, they themselves thinking, and they're setting some sort of objectives for them, and they know that age is coming up, so they don't want to spend no waste another time for the preparations as we. So this all sort of things are there, that no, a plan B is also getting addressed for their career objectives. So
So amazing. It's so amazing. It is actually, I think I congratulate you, for being understanding, for giving that room to your child. It all started from there, sir. And it does not just automatically happen. Okay.
correct.
It happens because there has been that kind of a freedom in the family. And they also know their boundaries. You set the boundaries. You did not have to do specifically to her, tell her that this 2 years I'm giving you. No, because possibly she was brought up in that manner. There was a conditioning which happened, which enabled her to take a decision. She is a much stronger individual today because of your upbringing. So
Yeah.
congratulations, sir. Yeah, so this is precisely what I want to drive home, that children should be brought up with some boundaries, okay, where they know that they can exploit the boundaries, exploit within the boundaries, but not try to go out. They feel more secure and comfortable.
Yeah, madam, I wanted to add one thing here because this was something very serious and interesting.
Yes, sir.
Because there's a participant, Smriti, who is also, very actively participating on the chat box. So, I mean, see, one thing that I agree with her is that this generation, we often criticize, and I've seen people criticizing, यार ये लोग ऐसे हैं, ऐसे कुछ नहीं है. I somehow feel they are more exposed, they are more savvy on the social media, etc. Despite all its flaws, social media also is giving them a wide exposure to what can happen, what are the possibilities, what can go wrong, and many of them, I think a good majority of them take informed decisions, and the job of parents is not macro managing them in this setup, not micromanaging them. As you said, you just have to, keep an oversight. I mean, instead of micromanaging everything for them, let them take a decision, support them in their decisions. If you feel the decisions are, coming from the core of their heart, I think that's what matters today. So instead of going overboard, criticizing them, and then, I mean, Mr. Anand Menon, I'm so happy and so grateful to him that he shared live case studies now, and the other participants also. These are all very live studies, not micromanaging them and leaving them to their own intelligence and their own, most of them, I think, are quite as you shared your son's example also. So I think, I mean, the decisions were right in the long run, I suppose, right? Charlie, you can continue, ma'am. You have, I think, much more to add to it.
Yeah. So typically, in the schools, I mean, when an irate parent comes, he comes with a different background. So, I mean, this particular mindfulness slide is to address that. I mean, how do I address? So, when I'm talking about mindfulness here, I would want you all to kind of incorporate it in your other meetings that you have. But typically, during a conflicting situation, a teacher always need to remember to be a good listener. If possible, offer the parent a glass of water, because a parent has come with a different mindset. Like I said, only 25% in a school situation, only 25% of parents are actually with you. The rest of 75% of, types, like I'm talking about types, I'm just hoping and praying we have more and more parents like the participants here today who are absolutely sensitive to their children's needs. And I'm sure it is happening. I mean, it would be unfair to say that larger number, but then you have some parents. I do recollect one instance while I was actually at DAV Nerul. This was a parent, I think the child was in second standard. The child was hurt, I was given to understand, and the mother used to come to school to copy notes. I was told that, every day she would come, she would sit in the school meeting room and copy notes, whatever had happened in the school, she would copy. I think it was 5th day in succession. I was curious as to what actually had gone wrong. And the mother insisted on meeting me in person with her husband. The father and mother both were presented before me. And imagine what the mother said. Second standard child. Mother comes and tells me, "Ma'am, I am a MSc biotechnology gold medalist. I am better qualified than my husband. But I decided to take a sabbatical only because of my child. Only because I want to be a good mother. I want to orient her. I want to guide her. And so I decided to take a sabbatical. And it so happened, we used to have weekly tests in the school. So it so happened that last week, Monday, there was a test. My daughter gets 2 on 10. And what does she do? She just comes to school, comes home after school. She knows that she has got 2 on 10. She throws her bag and goes out to play. It was I who discovered, when I went through the notebook, I discovered that she has got 2 on 10 and she's just not bothered. When she came back from her play, I placed hot, I was cooking something in the kitchen, and that hot spoon, I placed it on her hand 5 times and charred her delicate hand. And her hand is injured. We had to immediately rush her to the hospital. And no wonder she has not been able to come to school ever since. And I wanted to kind of offload my emotions before you. I know I'm feeling guilty about it, but you tell me what I should have done at that time. So I wait for audience to respond to this before we move on to this slide, because I find this extremely an interesting incidents wherein I will want parents, teachers, whosoever could volunteer to respond. What should have been my response to this? And what kind of a parent is she? Is she authoritative, permissive, authoritarian, uninvolved?
Madam, this example really not sure how to respond to this. This one of the example which you have came across. First of all, this is not the way we treat our kids. Whether they are not doing academically well or what they are not doing, or they are naughtiness and whatever may be the thing. Okay, you will not believe. My son, when he was in the school, is not very good in his studies, but he studies at the last minute only for the exams. Okay, and all the class test and everything, it's average or below average, that sort of thing, and that gives a worrying factor to us also. But somehow he managed to get a success in the final examination. Okay, that includes the board examination, both at the 10th level and both at the 12th level also. I have been called by the principal of the school. Okay, on the 12th board examination occasion, even the school told me that they will not give the hall ticket because he is not doing perfect. And no, and I have to travel from Azerbaijan, no, on a very short notice, and I try to convince, some sort of, I try to convince the principal and the class teacher that no, he will do the need, he will do the no, success, no worries. Then it has been given a challenge that if you score XYZ percentage in the 12th, we will put your photograph on the notice board. This all are happening in front of him only.
Okay.
I not scolded him. But I made sure that for the first 3 papers, I went with him to the exam center. Then I said, oh, best wishes, do your best. You will not believe. No, there is a word in our professional career in the corporate offices. Exceeded the expectation levels of the customer. Okay. In that case, I was the customer. Okay, he exceeded the expectation level of me, not only me, exceeded the expectation level of the principal of the school and the class teacher of the school.
So nice, so nice.
They were told no need to put the pictures on the notice board, but still, things are happening. Things are happening during our childhood days. We used to got scolded by our own parents. Now we cannot scold our kids during this time on these generations. We don't know what sort of repercussions, emotional things happens in the back of mind, and we have to be very careful. Sensitively, we have to look into how to mold them. No, first of all, we have to be with them like a friends. As one of our speakers told that more affinity, child is more affinity towards the parents in comparison to the friends in comparison to the parents. So we have to become a friend first rather than a parent and try to understand. And another thing is the best good time for which I spent with my both son and daughter when they were in the school. I used to go them to the bus stop to drop them in the school bus. And that 5 to 10 minutes which I am getting in the bus stop, all sort of narratives they used to spell it out to me. This is what happened yesterday. This is what happened. This is how we enjoyed. And that 10 minutes, you as a parent will get a good, not only emotional feel, but a motivated feel that our upbringing in the home is going in a
proper direction.
So this is what So the example which you quoted, by putting the hot spoon on it's might be that particular spot. That particular spot we got blasted, and it has happened. Might not be intentionally done, but no, it's that type of presence of mind. What to do?
Right. So basically, right, what happens is mothers, highly qualified mothers possibly have to take sabbatical for rearing up children, and then they start expecting the children to respond because of that, which is very, very unfair. Which is very unfair. So the first thing I advise the mother is, if you are really feeling so bad about it, I think you take up a job. Give the child little space. Okay. And I think that is what you will do. I see one more hand raised. I will want the person to respond. Yes, ma'am. Okay. Yes.
Yes, ma'am. So under this given situation, this girl who this hot spoon was placed, I think it's more of the mother being frustrated of highly qualified, not working, and then looking at this score. So that would have triggered her frustration, but it is just second standard. The child has way to go, and a little more guidance and the child is going to score well. So I think it's the frustration. So as mothers, all the mothers need to be very, very careful about, yes, I mean, being happy in their own spaces so that these things don't happen. We are more sensitive towards children.
Yeah, thank you so much, Smita ma'am. Yeah, so now we move on to the next slide about how to respond to an irate parent who comes with unreasonable demands. So yes, first of all, listen, okay, even if he is unreasonable, she is unreasonable, listen, be a good listener. If possible, offer the parent a glass of water to soften her nerves. Politely take notes. Okay, I mean, possible that you may have missed out on something. There is always a possibility. It's a human interaction. You could have failed somewhere. Instead of becoming aggressive, I think it is fine to politely take notes of all that the parent has to say. Ensure that the parent realizes that you are her well-wisher. We are well-wishers, right? I think we are handling their children. So we are well-wishers of the child. We are well-wishers of the parent. We are no way wanting to antagonize with him, her. So why don't we demonstrate that sufficiently? Ensure that the student is not part of the conversation. In case parent is in the accusing mode, he wants to blame the teacher, the school, for anything. You politely greet the child and ask him to stay out of your room while you are speaking to the parent, because child shouldn't, his mind shouldn't get corrupted. The child shouldn't start hearing the parent speak lowly of the teacher and start losing respect on the adult world. To whom he shall lose respect is beyond my scope to discuss here. He could lose respect towards his parents. He could lose respect towards his teacher. But then I think he will lose the reason to trust anyone. I think that is very, very important. So I think best it is to keep the child out of this kind of unhealthy discussions. A teacher need not be defensive. Okay, why do you start feeling that you are getting cornered? I think we need to have enough conviction of our own actions. We cannot go wrong. We are teachers. A parent can misunderstand, but our action can never be wrong. So always trust your action, because they are invariably guided by reasons, but which will be beyond the understanding of the parent. Parent may not understand the reasons. So just don't justify. You just listen to him. You say, yes, I think I can be a little more careful next time. Instead of responding defensively and say, nahi, nahi, aisa hua hi nahi hai, I don't accept it. Okay, why unnecessary? Do not get into any aggressive mode and use this as an opportunity to accuse the parent. Let us stop. Let us not say that, I think, Mr. Sharma, I think, Mr. Gupta, you are an authoritarian. I think you are too permissive. Just because we have got some vocabulary does not necessarily mean that we throw it at the parent and say, I now diagnose your problem. Because he is not in the mood to your diagnosis. He is not in the mood to listen to you. So let us just not get into an aggressive mode to discuss anything on this. Always remember, winning an argument should never be our object of discussion. There are times when parents actually, when something goes wrong in the school, okay, and a parent, something wrong in the sense that quite big enough to be concerned about. Happens in the school. And I'll give you an example. I had a student in the school, I think she was in the grade 9 or was it 10th standard, I don't recollect. In her water bottle, she had brought liquor. Okay, it sounds a little alarming, but that was the case. She had bought liquor in her water bottle. It so happened that my council members, they discovered it and they brought the water bottle to my room. What do you think should have been my reaction to that? I just called the child. The child totally denied. She says, I don't know. There was a bottle in the house. I filled in water in that bottle and I brought it to school. Now, how do I affirm, reaffirm, establish? And then the thought stuck. By establishing that a child was having liquor in her possession, am I becoming victorious as a teacher? I'm not. I'm not getting victorious. Even after establishing that she was carrying a liquor, she was having liquor in her possession. It's a failure for me anytime. I'm losing anytime, even with the discovery. So what is the point? I just called the father. I said, this was found in her possession. Unfortunately, this is again a laissez-faire parent, uninvolved parent. He comes, he took a smell of it and he said, हाँ, कल के पार्टी का कुछ बच गया होगा, लेके आएंगे. This was the father's response. And I was glad I didn't waste my time, energy investigating it. So it was a parent's doing, right? Why do I unnecessarily waste my time and energy investigating onto something which actually I have no business on? So I draw a line to myself. Winning the argument is not my objective, but communicating to the parent is my objective. कि देख लीजिए, आपका बच्चा गलत दिशा में जा रहा है, आइंदा ध्यान रखिए. So I had to say the same thing to that parent. I said, sir, please be careful. The child shouldn't be carrying this to the school. Ugly. Then he said, हाँ, अगले time ध्यान रखेंगे. What else to do? I think that is where we need to be mindful, not get overly upset about some things like that. Primarily because we are dealing with children. And what does mindfulness do to us personally? Mindfulness reduces stress. Why do I unnecessarily worry about something? Yes, the child has been reposed with due trust into my custody. I have to take care of the child's requirements, but to communicate to a parent is my duty. Mindfulness appears to aid in management of current stress as well as prevention of future adversity, because we wouldn't want to get too agitated in such cases, speaking something which we would regret later. It also calms you, so it is critical to keep a good outlook to stay healthy. I mean, I'm just seeing it as one odd case that happened in my career. Why do I unnecessarily carry it as a burden onto my system? Doesn't make sense. Yes, very, very important, because you need to remain healthy to serve children more, to improve your sleep and memory. Memory exercises, activities, not only to help deal with stress, but also help with peace and memory. Yes, it also helps in you remaining creative. So important that we, teachers, school, remain super creative, because I think creativity is one trait that shall forever get celebrated. With AI, machine learning coming up big way, I think this is one trait that shall remain so much in demand. So let creativity flourish in our schools. Let creativity flourish in all our interactions that we have with the young generation. And with this, I should conclude, unless there are some questions from the audience. Yes. What do you say? Who is the role model for our children? And also, they are greatly influenced by their close friends. Yes, Kataria sir.
Yeah, indeed, it has been very nice uh, sharing of your thoughts, mindfulness. That was excellent, and I was also surprised, and I was very pleased to see good interaction from the participants, from the delegates. That was the best thing, and they could share their hand-on experience, especially Mr. Anand Menon. Thanks a lot. It was good, and one has to really see the psychology of our children. That is the most important, because nowadays our behavior also has been changing according to the external atmosphere. So how we are going to deal with that? Multimedia plays a havoc, and false news also takes you. Only I can say a lot of influence of the children is also their role model, who are their role model in their family. Plus, who mostly they are very much influenced by their own close friends, where they interact, they laugh, they spend a lot of pleasure time, they read with them, and they solve their problems with them, and they are very open to this their friends. So they also influence their. But one thing is there, we somebody, I think it was also that we had to have somewhere balance, and we have to respect children' interest, what career he would like to have, and then have the balance. You can definitely like to have that they should be happy in their, and they should excel in life. So thank you very much. I enjoyed, and it was very lively and very interesting, the topic. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I see Menon sir again.
First of all, thank you, Jayashree madam, and Kataria sir and your team for bringing such a value-added topic today. And this gives lot many insights. How to be mindfulness towards the kids. No, it's touches the emotion part. It touches the compassion. It increase the focus. All these are the certain things which benefits from the mindfulness. So and no, we as Indians, as a ancient lot nowadays, yoga is taking one step ahead. I think yoga will benefits to a great extent. If we try to see that whether a kid can be get interested into yoga sort of things and some sort of practices, And even if school encourages, because I studied from Kendra Vidyalaya during my childhood. So Kendra Vidyalaya has got a yoga classes during those times. I think still today also Kendra Vidyalaya practices yoga in their classrooms. So that no, that really benefits to concentrate what you want to be or what you're thinking, what you set as goals and objectives, that sort of thing.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
so thank you once again, Jayashree madam and Kataria sir, for bringing such a topic on this weekend days. It was really made our day. Thank you.
Yes, Rashmi ma'am, I see your hand.
Yeah,
Yes.
thank you so much, ma'am. I think we got a lot of interesting, informative points, which I think can shape up as a very good parent to our child. I think that is most important in these times wherein they are also stressed with the career options. And I think like all the dignitaries here express their views and your viewpoints, ma'am. I think we should be able to help them out emotionally wherever possible and try to be their best friend. So I think it made my day to listen to all these important points. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah,
So,
ma'am, let me make a passing comment. I
Sir,
think this was one of there are 49 people still there, and I hope I think I am wondering whether they still want to continue to be there. But this was such an interesting discussion, Basically, you stirred the thought process of everyone. I think that's very important in a presentation, like this. You have to force people to think. And you made them think really, and you made them reflect.
thank you
The
so much. This,
PowerPoint, as I normally say, is just a kind of aid to, to reminding you of what is to be discussed. So, unfortunately, many of the speakers who it's not only here, everywhere, they assume that a PowerPoint is the be end, of everything. It is not the end of everything. It is the speaker's truthfulness and the speaker's passion, the speaker's knowledge, the speaker's competence, which initiates discussions. And I'm so happy that
no, Sharma sir, I think it was thanks to you that I got such a wonderful opportunity. And
Ma'am, it's not enough. Please, please, please. I mean, getting you is like getting, Lord Balaji, basically. So the very fact that you spend so much time in this event, I think it has enriched a lot of people and lot of participants. And I'm sure the world is a little better place after this. I think we can, uh, if there are no other questions and answers, back to Mr. Negi and team.
yeah.
thank you so much, ma'am, for a lovely section that was being held today. It was too informative for us. We got lots of information. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, so ma'am, thank you for explaining us such a nice section into your easy way you made to us to understand through the help of presentation. The presentation was too good, ma'am. Thanks a lot. So I now request all the delegates to put your question in the chat box, or you can unmute yourself and ask directly. So anyone wants to ask any question to the ma'am? So I think that everyone have understood the section through your easy way language, which you have made understood to us. So I'm good. So our next section will be on 31st of December. It will be on maintenance management and medium and small scale enterprises, which will be taken over by Mr. Gajendra Jajpuria. He'll be covering the following topics like types of maintenance, resource management, human performance tool, failure mechanism, and followed up with a question and answer section. So ICS is pleased to provide you all its research and development in integrated management system, QMS, EMS, and OSHAs, excellence in education management. ISO has also made easy in many of the languages like Gujarati, Marathi, Telugu, and Hindi. For reading any of the above books, please contact Ms. Sushma Kindalkar. Her email ID and contact detail is being provided here. Anyone who is interested in reading any of the book can contact her. So there is one feedback form. Please register on www.sadgunsang.org and go in your login and give the feedback. So on behalf of the Sadgun San team, I would like to express my gratitude to all the esteemed delegates of the webinar for the presence and contribution to make this webinar a great success. Now we officially close the section. Thank you all.